Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Poets and Quants' online MBA admissions and student experience with University of North Carolina Kenan-Flagler Business School. I'm your host, Christy Blyzeffer of Poets and Quants. Please feel free to use the Q&A function to submit any questions you have for our panelists, and we'll do our best to get to those at the end of the session. Today, we're joined by an admission expert and alumni from the UNC Kenan-Flagler Online MBA. Thanks for joining us, and please let's take a minute to get to know you. Laura, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself in the business school?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Laura Tremaine, and I am the Associate Director of Admissions for our online MBA program at UNC Kenan-Flagler. And to talk a little bit about UNC Kenan-Flagler, our business school has 5 MBA formats. We have a full-time MBA program here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and then we have 4 programs for our working professionals. So we have an evening and a weekend program in Chapel Hill, and then we also have an MBA program in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then, of course, we have our online MBA program. And our online MBA program began 15 years ago. So in 2011, we've been doing this a long time, but we're always innovating and updating our program and our courses and our experiences for students, really based on, what businesses are telling us, what students' needs are. And I would say that UNC Kenan-Flagler, when you think about our reputation and what we're known for, I would say the number one thing is going to be our community. We've got an amazing, collaborative, welcoming community. We have over 46,000 Kenan-Flagler alumni, and we have a really strong, rigorous academic program as well. So all of our MBA formats cover 62 credits for our students to graduate in, and a lot of the same exceptional faculty teach across all of our programs.
Very good. Thank you so much. Emily, tell us a little bit about the student experience.
Great. Thanks, Christy. Happy to be here today. So I'm Emily Spiegel, and I am a very recent alum from the UNC MBA program, the online program that Laura was just talking about. So I just finished, and I'll walk in graduation in a couple of weeks. I
Congratulations.
completed it in just about 20 months. I did a dual concentration in data analytics and marketing. I was a Forte Fellow, and I achieved Beta Gamma Sigma honors. But that's all from my part-time MBA. In my real life, I am the director for HCP US Marketing at Bristol Myers Squibb. I work in oncology and hematology, drug development. And before that, I was in life sciences strategy consulting.
Very good. Thank you. And congratulations on walking coming up. That's very exciting. So Laura, let's get started with, kind of just explain the qualities and experiences that you guys are looking at when you're looking to admit people to the online MBA program.
Sure. Well, during our admissions process, we're really trying to get to know our students as a whole person. So we're not looking at any one document, resume, or a transcript, but we're really trying to add up all of these things to get to understand you and know you. And some of the things that we look for specifically are we're looking for your track record of growth and that continuous learning that you want in your life and in your career. We want to understand how you've been able to make an impact both personally and professionally. And we really want to understand why an MBA is important to you. What is going to help you do in your career? Why now is a good time for you to pursue this degree? And also why UNC Kenan-Flagler? What about our program is going to help you meet those goals? And we also know that many times you still have a lot of unknowns and you want to come into the program and explore. And we definitely want you to take those classes, try different things out. But coming in, knowing some of those things and having that understanding is going to be helpful to you. We're also looking at you and what you've done in your work experience. We want to see that you've had that good quality work experience, again, making that impact, because that is going to help you be such an integral part of the program, really able to contribute more to those classroom discussions, be able to take what you're learning in the MBA program and apply it to work the very next day and be able to really share those experiences with your classmates, because so much of learning that happens doesn't just happen from you learning from the faculty, but it really is about learning amongst your peers and helping each other out. So we're also looking for strong communication skills, because in this online program, you are going to be working together as teams and really having those classroom discussions and participation. So we really want people who are strong communicators and who are really intentional about their engagement with their classmates in the program.
Very good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Emily, kind of going off what she said, when you were first starting the journey, did you feel your background kind of aligned with, what an MBA admissions team typically looks for? Was your thought process around there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll say I have a bit of a non-traditional MBA journey here. I actually started a part-time in-person program. I did about 3 classes with that program. I was living in a different part of the country at the time, and then my job moved me, and I knew I wanted more flexibility. I had done the in-person. I have a very demanding job, lots of travel, and even the part-time in-person was making it challenging to continue to progress in my career. So in addition to moving, I was looking for greater flexibility anyway. The UNC program, of course, came up at the top of the charts for everything. And the more I talked to people and learned about it, the more I loved it. But I can say the in-person program I started was well ranked. I won't say where it was or who it was with, but coming to the UNC program, it's rigorous, it's disciplined. I felt like the cohort of my classmates was more what I was looking for from a part-time MBA program. With a part-time professional program, you expect folks who are a bit more mature, more seasoned in their careers. We get a lot of people in this program who, like me, need the flexibility for a reason. They travel a lot. They have very competitive careers. We have people who are, at embassies around the world doing their MBA part-time. So I really appreciated that my classmates were kind of that caliber I was looking for, that diverse background, and again, that maturity that I was looking for in my network. And then, of course, just the academic rigor was excellent. And I really appreciated that despite it being, a hybrid program, the full-time professors were very much a part of our education as well. We got a lot of exposure to them, and it didn't feel like we were compromising anything in the MBA experience.
Yeah, as Laura alluded to, you're often learning as much from your classmates in an MBA as you are from the professors. So that diversity and experience and industry is very important.
Absolutely.
Um, so Laura, do you want to take a minute to kind of really get into the structure of the online MBA?
Sure. So students start in our program with orientation. And I think that this is such an amazing opportunity for students to come to Chapel Hill for a weekend, to be in person with the other classmates who are starting the program at the same time, and really get to know those people, build those relationships early on, get to meet faculty, staff, the career coaches, really learn how to take advantage of all the different things that our program has to offer. So I think that having that small setting allows students to really feel that very personalized experience. But then I think the other great thing about our program is that we really strive to make it very personalized and flexible for our students. So we want them to take their core classes in the first 3 quarters. So again, they'll be with those classmates that they got to know during orientation. They'll really get all those business foundation fundamentals. And then they jump into their electives. And this is where students really can take that path of why they wanted to come get their MBA. They can take electives and choose concentrations, just like Emily did. And you can take courses and classes that even aren't in anything that maybe you're looking to really focus on, which is just another great opportunity to just challenge yourself. But the idea that you've got small class size always, at most 25 students in every class, and because our program is that mix of asynchronous and synchronous content, meaning you're going to have weekly class sessions that meet for 2 hours in the evenings. You get to choose the day and the time. We always offer classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evenings from either 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, there's a lot of choice and flexibility for our students. But you're going to be in these small classes where you're all on camera. You're really having these open discussions. Students come prepared for class. They're not just sort of off camera doing other things. And, they're really engaged. And so it feels like you're in person. It feels like this small class experience. But then we're part of a bigger MBA program that is able to offer so many electives and different opportunities for our students to take advantage of. So I love that you kind of have that mix of the small and the big all in one. We also offer our students opportunities to really develop in leadership. That's something that I think UNC Kenan-Flagler does really well, is help students have opportunities while in the program to test out those skills. You can earn a Leadership Academy certificate in conjunction with your MBA. So being able to get that extra credential, that specialization, will just help you really show that you have those strong leadership skills if you're going for that promotion and looking for that new job. Again, in terms of that flexibility, we offer students 4 start dates throughout the year. So you can really choose the time that works best for you to start the program. We also allow students to determine how long they want to take to complete the program. So like Emily said, she finished hers in about 20 months. That's definitely on the earlier side. She was busy. She was taking a lot of classes, electives, but obviously it's very doable. A lot of our students do it that way. But you can finish in as few as 18 months, but all the way up to 3 years. So again, it gives you that flexibility. If you have some work things come up one quarter, or family, or a move, or all of the different things that we know are happening in our busy professionals' lives, it allows you to take a step back, to slow things down, to speed things up, and do things on your own timing. So I think that's what I love about the way our program is structured. While there is, pathways and lots of support and career coaches working with our students all throughout, we also understand that everyone has different needs and wants different courses, wants different timing, and we really try and support our students to be able to do that while they're in their program.
Very good. A very good overview of what students can expect. And then Emily, how does that look in practice? What is how did the structure work for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Laura said, there's definitely a range in terms of how long people take to complete the program, and where you kind of pick in that range will affect what your day-to-day life looks like. Matt Henty, who leads the program, often says the days are long, but the years are short, and that's how it's
Oh,
going to feel no matter what. So if you choose a more short time in the program, that kind of 18 to 21 month, you can expect to be taking anywhere from 2 to 4 classes in a quarter, depending on how you structure it and what you take advantage of. And then if you are more on that long end, the 3 years, which I know people who do that, they might only do 1 or 2 in a quarter. So of course, that's going to impact your workload. What I really loved was that I had, first of all, the flexibility to choose when my classes would be based on what was going on in my work schedule, what was going on in my life. And then the async part of it, that I could determine when I would be able to sit down and do my problem sets and homework and midterms and all of those types of things. The kind of experience of the program too will depend on what types of classes you take. So if you take a lot of quant heavy classes, right, you can expect a lot of problem sets, a lot of tests, a lot of time kind of working through those analytical skill sets. If you take more the leadership side, you can expect more essays and group projects. You can kind of configure based on what you enjoy, what you're looking to build. And then I would say as well, the program offers a great diversity of formats of learning. So Laura referred to the orientation, where everybody gets in person comes together in person in Chapel Hill at the start of the program. There are other opportunities, great opportunities for in-person that also count as credits that they do with summits that they come to Chapel Hill, or they do international ones. I just got back from an international trip to Dublin and Croatia with the program. Those were my last credits in the program. There are one-day intensive classes that they offer as well, and a variety of other opportunities. So in addition to the traditional courses that are meeting, once a week throughout the quarter, you have these other kind of creative options to build your credits. That all impacts what your quarter looks like and what your life looks like. As Laura referred to, your life will flex throughout the program, especially if you're a working professional of a certain age. I knew people who gave birth during the program. I knew plenty of people who moved and started new jobs and started businesses during the program, and they were able to flex up and down based on what that life looked like for them at the time.
Yeah. Did you have any trouble maybe trying to stay engaged while you were online, or do you have any tips in how to stay engaged in the online portion of it?
That's a great question. I would say, again, referring back to I started with an in-person program and then I came to the UNC program. The UNC program was more engaged and people were more, quick to raise their hands and talk. I think because it's an online class forum and there is that more kind of active desire, there's that need to be more active to stay engaged. And so folks are quick to raise their hand and share thoughts. I would say, in terms of tips and tricks in the era of Zoom, we all are in and out of a lot of virtual meetings. So it's always helpful at the end of your workday to take a quick breather, take a walk around the block or something before you come back into
Absolutely.
class, be fresh. But most important is be prepared for class. So don't be the person who shows up, didn't do the reading, didn't do the lectures. You will get recognized for that. The professors are smart and sharp. They will know if you didn't do your homework.
Absolutely. Well, Laura, tell us a little bit about how, the program kind of it intentionally designs experience to kind of foster community or learning in this environment.
Sure, yeah. So we place a lot of emphasis and spend a lot of time thinking about that because we want our students to feel connected to each other, connected to UNC and to Kenan-Flagler. And so I think number one, starting with an in-person orientation, being able to come to campus, being able to know that this is now your school, your community, to feel that, I think is such an important way to start. Throughout the program, students will spend a lot of time in those group projects, working together, closely collaborating. And so even though you are online and you are doing things all different places in the world, I think you do feel that community right from the start and throughout your time in the program. Emily did mention our summits, and that is another thing that I think is very unique about our program and something that is maybe one of the favorite experiences that students have when they look back on their time. So we offer these on a quarterly basis, always twice in Chapel Hill, and then 2 international locations. And what's really exciting is that the international locations change every single year. So these aren't just these programs that we just run over and over. Our team, our global team, is always looking for unique places for our students to travel. We have great relationships with partner universities, with local businesses. And so this past year, we did just go to Dublin, and we had speakers come in and really talk with our students about what it's like to do business in Ireland and how Ireland feels about the way they interact with the world in terms of business, being such a small country, in the close relationship that they have with the United States. It's just, a fascinating way to learn in a group that's all gathering just for these weekend summits. So in Dublin, Ireland, we had 72 students all together doing all of these experiences together. And not only is there just the learning with the different workshops and sessions, but then there's fun activities at night. We had dinner in the catacombs at Christ Church in Dublin. That was really neat. We also went and we learned how to play Gaelic football and
Oh,
bowling, which I knew nothing about. And we were all on the field together playing these sporting games and really understanding the Irish culture, which again just teaches us to think differently, um, more globally, and fosters such amazing community. I feel like the students who gather for these summits, they get to know each other so well and have these shared experiences that really bond them for life. And I think that's the way, because we attract a certain type of person, our students are not only making connections that hopefully will help them with their careers and maybe even starting a business together or working with each other for each other, but also just relationships and friendships. And these people are going to be your friends for life. So this is just, such an amazing way to come together in these summits. So I highly recommend that. Our next one is going to be in Berlin, Germany in September. And then next year, our global summits are going to be in Mexico City and Rome, Italy. So
wow.
again, we are going to every different continent. We've been to Bangkok, we've been to Cape Town, South Africa. It's amazing and such a great way for our students to really spend time together. I think our faculty also do an incredible job of really being available to our students, always offering office hours and time to connect. And, even after the program, I hear from students all the time that are visiting professors, that might be some of our adjunct professors who live abroad. Students go and visit with them when they happen to be on vacation there. So these really strong, deep relationships. Our staff and faculty really care for our students and care about this program. And I think that that really comes through and makes our community really unique and very special.
Well, you make me want to sign up for the Kenan-Flagler online MBA. Emily, we're speaking now to students or people who may be considering an online MBA, looking for different schools that they think they might fit. Can you explain a little bit about how you balanced the very demanding, academic, professional, and personal things in your life in a very busy time?
Yeah, wing and a prayer. I mean, I joke, but I'm a bit serious. I think going into it, you should know, especially if you choose a top caliber, rigorous program like UNC, it's going to be a tough couple of years.
Mhm.
It's just going to be. No matter what track you take, what concentrations you do, how fast you complete it, there will be a degree of difficulty and challenge. Be prepared to make sacrifices to meet that challenge. There will be nights where you've just got to slog through homework, and unfortunately, you don't get to go out with your friends, or trips that you have to postpone in order to make it work in the program. So before you go in, know that that is going to be what life feels like. Maybe make a list for yourself of why you're doing this. That's really the thing that keeps you going at the end of the day, is knowing that there's some outcome you're looking for from this program. Develop the friendships within the program, as Laura said. There's a lot of opportunities. You will get close with your classmates. I have so many group chats, I can't even tell you, with all of our colleagues, and some of us have met in person outside of the program. Those are the people who know best what you're going through and can sympathize and empathize and give you tips and just complain with you,
Mhm.
because no matter how much your friends and family, know what you're doing and appreciate what you're doing, nobody's really going to understand unless they've done it themselves. So build that community. And then I would also say, about 6 months before the program ended, which is when I was really, really ready for it to end,
Mhm.
I started keeping a list of all the things I wanted to do after the program ended. And it was a nice little motivation to myself when I was sad I couldn't spend time on something else, of like, okay, in 6 months, I will get to return to this. I will get to do this. So, best thing is have a clear vision, build those good habits, build a good community, but be prepared. It's going to be tough.
That is some great, honest advice, and I think it's great for people to hear that. So Laura, switching now to, maybe one of the top reasons people really start considering an MBA, and that's the career after. Tell us about some of the kind of career outcomes the UNC Online MBA graduates achieve, or, the trends that you're seeing.
Sure. So about a third of our students will change jobs while they're in the program. So they're able to do that. They're learning so much quickly. As Emily said, the rigor's there. They're growing so fast, and they actually make changes while in the program. But I would say maybe over half will actually plan to make a change after the program, because obviously it is a lot of work, and to be doing that full-time work and an MBA and your family and your life and then maybe looking for a job, that's not what everyone can take on. So that career change or that next step after you graduate is really popular with a lot of students. And I think, what we're seeing too is that our program gives the students specific skills and that knowledge. And then that gives them the confidence to really think about their career differently and think about what that next step is going to be, making sure that you're not just changing jobs, but that you are really being intentional about what that next step is to get to your ultimate goal. And our career coaches really help our students do that. We have an amazing career coaching team. They schedule one-on-one meetings with our students all the time. They attend summits that students can have in-person breakfast with a career coach and have those meetings and really be strategic about their career. So having that support, I think, is essential. We know that in this environment, things are changing and moving so quickly. And so I think having strong skills and knowledge, having lifelong career coaching, because we do offer that to our students anytime after they graduate. They can come back, set up appointments, have Kenan-Flagler resources. So having that support ongoing is going to be essential. And I think that, we just have to learn to be adaptable and kind of know that having skills, having that network is going to be most important to us at any stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And Emily, as the promise of the MBA for a long time was like, the ROI. And as, prices and cost of living increase, what advice do you have for people to kind of maximize that value of a UNC Online MBA?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm sure for many people who are considering a part-time program, one of the key reasons they are considering it is the opportunity cost if they were to step away from their jobs and their careers right now, where, why not make the sacrifice, do the hard things, play life on challenge mode, right? And do the part-time MBA because it's going to allow you to continue to pool income and progress your career at the same time. I do think it's important to think about what you will do with the MBA after you graduate. Maybe you will leverage it for a promotion or a different job, higher salary band. There's, obviously many things open to you, but be really intentional with what you're doing with it before you finish the program as well. So for myself, I moved jobs and got promoted several times while I was in this program. And a big part of that was I was actively demonstrating to my leadership my seriousness of my own professional growth, commitment, long-term commitment, right, to the company, to growing myself within the organization. So that kind of elevated me in a lot of ways. But also, I was actively bringing learnings that I was getting in the classroom back into conversations on a regular basis. I mean, there was a time during the program where my boss was moved to a different role, and I had to fill my boss's shoes in a very senior level role for several months. And like literally overnight, my life changed, and I had profit and loss sheet responsibilities. I was managing operational execution and budget to a degree I hadn't before. I had to sit down daily with the analytics guys and the accountants and run through and talk about all of these very nuanced things. I was only able to do that because I was getting that education at the same time in the MBA. I mean, at one point I was talking to one of the finance guys and he was explaining something on the balance sheet to me and I was like, "Oh, it's a bad debt expense." And he was like, "Oh, I love that you know that. Here, I can go
Wow.
down and explain more to you." So use it while you're doing it. Use it to show that you are serious, that you deserve to be promoted, that you deserve new opportunities. Be smart about it at the same time because, again, the opportunity cost of walking away from your career is a big reason why many people want to do the part-time. So make the most of your career while you're in the program.
Yeah. I'm curious if you were kind of like, very intentionally letting leadership know that you were pursuing the MBA, and were you like intentional with your like, I'm doing this because I'd like to advance here. Like, how did people recognize what you were,
It's a good question. I actually, so my several times skip level a couple years ago came to me and said she wanted to send me to the MBA. So I know that's not always everybody's journey. For a lot of
Right.
people, I think they go and have that conversation. However, then I moved around within the organization several times. And so each time as I was coming into different teams, I had to then get their permission to continue the tuition reimbursement and all this. So there was always a point at which to have that conversation and say, I am doing this. I'm doing this because I'm serious about these aspects of my career, because this is the direction I want to take my career in. So formal opportunities like that, but then informally, I was kind of shy about it at first. I
Mhm.
didn't want to tell people because I was afraid they'd think that I was like less committed or like less able to do the job or something. But then I stopped being shy about it because it was a great way to show people that I was working hard, very committed, balancing a lot of things. People started to esteem me differently when they heard about it. So even just a casual, hey, I can't go to that thing tonight because I have class. Or hey, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I've got a final. Like, why not? Why not use that to your advantage and show that you are serious and growing?
Oh yeah, very valuable perspective. Thank you. And Laura, last question. Tell us from an admissions perspective, what makes a student likely to thrive in an online program like this? And then how can they reach out if they want to learn more information?
Yeah, of course. So I think Emily gave so much good advice and all of her experiences really showing how, showing up with that intention, really fully engaging with your peers, with all the different courses, taking advantage of all of the different resources. And I think that is going to be really key to an online MBA program. Using what you're learning the next day at work, really showing off how this MBA is changing you, because it really will. This MBA will transform you if you engage with it and let it and develop those relationships. So I love when a student maybe who's thinking about just using their MBA to get more into marketing or leadership takes that higher level accounting class that's super challenging, but that's just going to give them a totally different viewpoint into something that is going to help them understand their business and their industry better. And like Emily said, like help them, point something out that maybe they wouldn't typically do and know in their own job. So really challenging yourself, being open to being uncomfortable and just embracing that. It's such an amazing opportunity. And anyone who's interested in our program simply needs to reach out. You can start an application online. Once you do that, you will be paired with an enrollment specialist who will reach out to you and be that point person for you during the admissions process. And we just encourage all students to talk with our current students and alumni, to sit in on a class session, see what it's like to be in this program, and really just do the research. And I would love to talk with anyone interested as well. We have such an amazing program, and it's always so exciting to be able to share it with people.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both for a really kind of insightful, lively conversation, I think. And thanks, of course, to all of you who are tuning in your MBA journey. Be sure to check out our other online MBA panels that have been going on throughout this week on other top programs. And of course, you'll always find a lot more deep dives into the online MBA at poetsandquants.com. So until next time, thanks for tuning in.